something that's very popular among the immigrant community is something that's called the Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, ITIN for short. And so this is a tax processing number that was issued by the IRS, and it's going on 26 years now. And so this ITIN has allowed immigrants, undocumented immigrants, people without a legal immigration status to pay billions of dollars in taxes every year. But one of the questions that we always get is, what is the purpose of paying taxes? Where does that money go?
Great question. So obviously, people who are living in the United States, whether they are immigrants or U.S. citizens, have a duty, a civic duty to be paying into the tax system. And that is, you know, the money that goes to fund all aspects of the government, you know, from infrastructure to education, et cetera. And we pay taxes involuntarily through sales tax in Texas. Every time we purchase something, we pay sales tax. We all pay property taxes, whether we own our property or rent our property. If you're a renter, your property tax is built into the cost of your monthly rent. And we are all paying into the system in multiple ways. And federal taxes is one of those. And so every year on April 15th, or unless you get an extension, you file your federal tax return and pay taxes if you owe them, or you get a refund if you've overpaid taxes. So if in general, if you work for an employer, a company as an employee, then they will be withdrawing or withholding your federal taxes and paying them for you. And so at the end of the year, you get a document that you use to file your tax return, and it shows what your income was and what your taxes were. And you look at what credits and deductions you get, maybe the child tax credit, things like that. And at the end of the return, you either owe an amount or you get a refund. And usually it's very, very rare that nothing happens, that you don't owe anything and they don't owe you anything. And so it really depends on whether you've paid into the system or not, whether you've been an independent contractor or not. But that is it's our duty to file a tax return every year on April 15th. So tax time is now, and people are preparing to file, if they haven't already, their taxes for last year of 2021. And by January, if you worked last year, if you worked as an employee, you'll get your W-2, which you use to file your taxes. And if you work as an independent contractor, you get your 1099, which you use to file your taxes. And if you've been paid as an independent contractor, you don't have taxes withdrawn. So oftentimes people who work like for themselves as a business owner, maybe you are a painter, maybe you do nails, maybe you do lawns, maybe you work as a consultant, and you are hired as an entity, then your taxes aren't paid for you by your employers. And in most cases, you will need to pay into the system when you file your taxes. One thing I'll say is that taxes can be quite complicated, right? Tax law, I've heard people compare immigration law to tax law in terms of complexity. And so it's really important that you, just like with immigration, like we always say, that you hire an immigration attorney who is knowledgeable and experienced to help you on your immigration case, because isn't it one of the most important things in your life? It's true for taxes as well. You need to be hiring and working with entities that you trust. You can go to the IRS website and find nonprofit organizations like Foundation Communities. We trust them and recommend and refer them. They speak English and Spanish, and they help with tax prep. But it's really, really important that every single person understand their tax obligations and they file their returns timely, because the consequences of not doing it can be really, really big, depending on what's going on in your life.